Hello everyone. Welcome to this video where I give brief reviews of different point-and-click hidden object adventure games. This is a genre that I haven't seen a lot of coverage on when it comes to gaming reviews, so I would like to try to help fill that void by briefly going over the quality of the stories, puzzles, art styles, and hidden object scenes before giving it an overall ranking. In the Secret Order New Horizon, we must uncover the secret legacy of the Order of the Griffin and restore Sunward City through the playable character of Sarah Pennington. She lives in a metropolis ruled by a corrupt and tyrannical government. When an assassin attempts to kill her, she is saved by her nephew, who claims to be from the future. Now we must follow in her father's footsteps and return Sunward City to its once prosperous state. New Horizon was developed by a small Hungarian studio called Sunward Games and published by Big Fish Games in 2011. Follow-up titles would be published by Artifex Mundi and released on Steam. However, due to different copyright ownership, this title is the only one that is not available on Steam, yet it is still available on the Big Fish Games platform. I was able to purchase this for about $3, but I had to open up an account with Big Fish Games, which has a very dated user interface compared to Steam. Like most hidden object titles, the story is not AAA quality, but intriguing enough to keep the player engaged through its relatively short duration. You play as Sarah Pennington, who is given a quest to collect artifacts and tools around her run-down neighborhood to allow her to unlock a time machine to go prevent a deadly murder that killed her father and other prominent members of what used to be known as the Order of the Griffin, an underground organization that has constantly been in conflict with another faction known as the Dragon, building its mythos and lore by taking a lot of influences from the Assassin's Creed games. In order to find the hidden time machine, we must track down 5 rings that were once owned by the Secret Five, the heads of the Secret Order, who were all assassinated, including our father, so many years ago. As we solve puzzles to uncover these rings, we are given some backstory as to who these different people were. As with each hidden ring, we find codex pages that give us hints through riddles as to where the next ring can be found. This created an enjoyable sense of progression through the game, which kept me really engaged the whole way through. I also enjoyed the story's dark, suspenseful tone in the narrative. You get a sense that you are being followed as you move through the different hidden object scenes and puzzles to race to the time machine before the assassins do. The puzzles were engaging enough, although not difficult to solve. This includes jigsaw-style puzzles where you have to piece together a torn-up photograph, turn switches on in the correct order through trial and error, completing objectives following the correct steps, finding codes and clues in different places to help unlock doors, or power up different devices. If you are new to these styles of games, it may take you longer to complete some puzzles than one who has experienced a lot of these games, but either way, most people should be able to get through the puzzles as long as they continue to tinker around with the different set pieces. Overall, if you are looking for a challenge, you will probably not find it here, but if you are looking to have some casual fun and want to play a game where no puzzle will stump you or slow you down too much, this may be exactly what you want to play. The art style is quite different to the sequels of this game. Where most of these games followed a more vibrant fantasy style with its sprites and scenes, this game follows a much grittier urban tone. You are not time-traveling back to any ancient or medieval point in history, so most of the scenes have a much more dystopian urban style, depicting a ravaged modern city with high crime and run-down buildings. In this game, you feel more like a detective solving a murder mystery than a time traveler, which later games focused more on. There are a few more fantastical scenes and elements later in the game, but it gives off more of a style akin to the Myst-like point-and-click puzzle games than an oversaturated high fantasy scene. I like this kind of style, and although I liked a lot of the other games in the series, I kind of secretly wish that subsequent games would have followed and built upon this style. A lot of the background scenes have a fairly photorealistic design, and the animations are done similar to the way that game developers used to put QuickTime videos in their scenes to depict movement. Given this is a bit more modern than 90s Myst titles, I'm not sure that is the exact same technique that they are using, but it definitely feels that way. Piggybacking off the art style, a lot of the hidden object scenes follow similar gritty urban backdrops. You are rummaging through junk piled outside of a dumpster, sifting through a car trunk, and rummaging through trash piles in the sewers. There are a few other scenes where you are finding objects in bedrooms, kitchens, and other house interiors. There are always a few items in the scene that require an additional step or two to complete. For example, you may need to assemble a fishing rod that has pieces scattered across the scene, or you may need to make a pitcher of lemonade by finding lemons and sugar and squeezing them and mixing them into a pitcher of water. Like a lot of hidden object scenes, most of the objects have nothing to do with advancing the overall story, but there is always at least one object within the scene that is important for advancing the game's plot, whether it be a key or a lever for opening up a door that couldn't previously be opened. In general, these hidden object scenes were fun to solve and relatively easy. While I never used the hint option in the game, if you hover over the different objects long enough, the game will give you a silhouette of what the object looks like, so you will never be struggling to get through them for too long. So, here's my final ranking for the game. The story provides an element of suspense that keeps you engaged all the way through. There is no voice acting in this title, but that can be a positive when so many of these games have varying degrees of voice acting quality. There is no difficulty level for this game, which could have been a good bonus to have for people who are looking for more of a challenge, but I love the atmosphere and feel of this game that I never really saw replicated in future titles. In later titles, some of the games become very similar and overlap each other. This game stood out as unique in its art design and delivery. For this reason, I give this game an 8 out of 10, and it's definitely one of the best games in the series. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next Hidden Object game review. Thank you.